veterans for this game, and that's what the reset is going to look like. So we'll see how they start the game off, setting the tone, setting the example here today at McCamish Pavilion as they are in their Play for K white jerseys with the pink trim. Beautiful jerseys with the gold wrapped around the numbers as well. Right away, Kayla Blackshear, who is getting her first ACC start, gets the first bucket for Tech.
And that's what I love, seeing from the veteran players already attacking the glass, going hard, getting a bucket.
So here's your starting five for Wake Forest. Something of note, Elise Williams, who had a monster game against Georgia Tech, put up a 30-burger here just a season ago, has been ruled out for this game, we were told pre-tip due to violation of team rules. She is with the team, however, will not be suiting up to play. So in her spot, starting is Reagan Connolly, her 13th start for this season. Backdoor cut, and Oredo kisses that off the glass.
Wake does a great job in their defensive scheming, but one thing that I do notice when watching the film, they all tend to get caught high a lot of the time. So sneaking in right under the rim there, it's going to be open a lot for Georgia Tech.
So Reagan Conley able to get the first bucket for Wake Forest in the absence of Elise Williams. Hadn't started the last two games, but you can see right away feeling that aggressive tone. Tipped up top, Inez finishes the play.
I already love it. You see the vets, they're already putting on the pressure, setting the tone, setting the example early on.
But that's what Georgia Tech does as well. They turn you over and they get a bucket from it as well. After that first turnover, we saw quickly Coach go to the bench to ask for a sub for Wake Forest. That'll happen at the next dead ball. Short shot clock and another turnover. This time, Tonie Morgan kisses it off the glass, and a quick start on the defensive end leading to points for Georgia Tech.
I think she thought she got some body, some contact on it too, but great finish and another steal.
3 consecutive turnovers for Wake Forest. They looked disheveled on the offensive end. And Georgia Tech swarming, to say the least.
And the Demon Deacons, they've seen it earlier. You can't be loose with the ball like that, but great steal here. And Tonie Morgan with a great finish. This is exactly, Angel, like you said, what Georgia Tech likes to do. They want to get steals and convert on the offensive end, and they've been doing that well this far.
So Demira Hines will be checked out. As Madison Jordan back in the game, or now in the game for Wake Forest. A foul on the play. It's going to go against the Deeps.
Wake Forest foul charge to number 5, Malaya Coles.
So Malaya Coles picks up her personal foul. As you can take a look at Nell Fortner, who had their best start to ACC in her tenure for this season, starting off 15-0. And a big part of that, she said it was because of defense. And that was a big part also for the shakeup we saw in the starting lineup for today. Hasn't liked what they've been able to do on the defensive end. Wasn't thrilled over the last couple of games. She said even against Clemson, it just wasn't our game. And we just got to chalk it up like, you know, we have bad days, but we can't string them together. So next up, Wake Forest, who she said is a very dangerous team. And they have started off with a sense of urgency on the defensive end.
And that's the biggest key, is you start off with that sense of urgency, starting off hot, starting off strong, dictating that tempo, and you have to keep it consistent throughout the game. That was the other thing that I was seeing in the past games, is that consistency in every quarter on both ends of the floor.
3-ball good, of course, Rylie Theuerkauf, who we highlighted in the open from distance.
I mean, Theuerkauf can go on a run individually herself, the way she just propels this Wake Forest team who has struggled on the offensive end throughout the season.
Has scored in double figures the last 7 games, has put up multiple 20-point games this season. It's going to be huge for them if they win a huge win on the road for the upset. But Kayla Blackshear, she's showing up in her first ACC start too.
And I love that, her ability, being able to score, knock it down right from the nail at the free throw line.
Averaging just under 6 points per game this season. 6'1" senior out of Orlando, Florida. Trying to hold it down for the Yellow Jackets in the paint. Aurora Sorby had to send it off to Coles. Coles with 5 seconds to work with. And a tie-up. The Yellow Jackets are the Yellow Jackets, but to say they're swarming them at this time is so fitting.
It's so fitting and so disruptive. I mean, we see the turnover here. Look how they swarm in the paint, hands all on the ball. That's great help defense from Georgia Tech. I mean, the way they swarm, absolutely disruptive. And another look.
So Coles got it off right at the buzzer for the shot clock. So now you can see after that quick reset for Wake Forest, them finding their footing and able to get some actual shots up makes it a one-possession game. Turnover almost for Georgia Tech, able to scoop that one back up. Drive and kick, Dunn off the bounce. Moreto sends it to Morgan in the corner, working baseline with 5. Smith. Kayla Blackshear can be called for her foul going over the back.
I'll tell you what, you credit the defense from Wake Forest in that possession, but I'm not mad at the shot. I love the offense from Georgia Tech, probing, attacking the gaps, and that was a good shot there in the short corner.
As you can see who's in charge for Wake Forest, Megan Debbia, her 3rd season. Talked about even finding her starting 5. It has changed throughout the entire season. What she looks for is consistency. It's not just one game you play well, it's how you string them together. And we saw the shift even in today's game. Up top, 3 ball off the mark. Sorby can't let it fly from out there, but hasn't taken a lot throughout this season. But Kara Dunn has, and she drains that from the corner.
I mean, we talked about the ball movement, how outstanding that is, and it started with Morgan and her attack, and that was just a great pass to Kara Dunn in the corner who can knock that one down.
Kara Dunn has knocked down now 43s on this season, has the best 3-point percentage on the roster, and that's a big point of why she is able to knock that one down. We'll be back right after the break. Huge hole and missing piece for Wake Forest, especially them needing another win here today.
Exactly, and not even just in the scoring, so you take the scoring away, but she does just about everything. You know, she's getting on the glass, she defends the ball well, she's a leader. So that's a tough one to miss, but you look at how they're performing thus far.
Another turnover for Wake Forest, their 4th of the game. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, have not coughed the ball up as Dani Carnegie in the rotation now for Georgia Tech. See right away, they say shoot her as soon as she touches the ball. How about her ability to move without the ball? Doesn't take her long to get going.
So quick, and you talk about those turnovers. That's their 5th point or 5th score now. 5th time scoring off of their turnovers now. So the Demon Deacons are going to have to take care of the basketball.
Yep, 6 points off of the 4 turnovers as they're able to get on the board. Rylie Theuerkauf now at 7 points, has 7 of Wake Forest 9. Blackshear tried to kiss it off the glass, couldn't find the angle. It comes back down to Demira Hines. Hines pushes it, can't find the box. That's a big advantage right now that Georgia Tech has over Wake Forest. The points in the paint. Georgia Tech has an 8-point advantage, 10-2 for points in the paint.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Debbie as well, and she said that was the key today. She wanted to find her bigs more in the paint, and even said that she expects more for them and wants to see them step up in this matchup specifically.
I was on that call against Boston College when they were able to get their first ACC win, and Demira Hines and Malaya Coles were able to find ways to dominate. And it was the guards also being able to find ways to hit outside shots, but it was because of that balance that they found the success, and I'm hoping to see that here today as well.
Exactly, and philosophically, she's a coach that likes to have that ball moving inside out and have that spread and being able to open the floor, and that's what's key, getting the bigs the ball, letting them work out, and it'll open up shots on the outside, opening up driving lanes.
Wake Forest coming off of their recent loss to Duke, 72-47, as Dani Carnegie, my goodness.
I had to take a breath for a second. And that's her move, too, that little cross step back. So pretty.
5-time Freshman of the Week in the ACC for a reason. She is the future of this league. It's so refreshing to see the young talent that you have in this league as Rylie Theuerkauf now just really filling up the stat sheet. Carnegie being held down by Jordan. Didn't like the look, passes it off. Chit-chat right in the game as well for Georgia Tech. Dunn. Top of the key, Sorby finds the high-low. Great footwork, Demira Hines. And Coach Gebbia has to be pleased with that performance there.
Absolutely. Great play to run. Not only was it a great move up and under the basket, but great find. That's a tough way to defend with help side, especially when the ball's coming in from the top of the key. So great execution.
The high hedge for Jordan on Carnegie, but still points coming from Blackshear. What a start for Kayla Blackshear, now with 6 points.
And I know Nell Fortner is happy when you talked about it, playing her vets and letting them get that start. And Blackshear has been nothing but excellent in terms of how she started and set the tone and example.
It's another thing Wake Forest is going to have to find a way to counter is the length on the inside for Wake Forest, for Georgia Tech rather. Short shot clock. Hines again shooting amongst the trees, goes out of bounds. And it'll go back to Georgia Tech.
It's a great defensive stop there by the Yellow Jackets. And not only is it the help and the swarming, but you also got to credit the defense, the perimeter defense, and the pressure that they're applying on the passer to make it difficult.
We can't go too long without talking about the little puff, head. What is it, little bands for chit-chat and her pinky toes? Love it. It has the game to match. Chit-chat on the board now with the 3-ball.
I'm gonna have to ask her for some poofy. I have a scrunchie in, but it's not poofy like hers.
Very nice. Chastity Wright, the 5'4" freshman. Is Tech able to get another stop? Zoe Smith, the transfer from UGA, has been phenomenal for them, has started every game for Georgia Tech that she has been available. As Carnegie finds it up the top of the key. Less than a minute to play here in the first quarter. Smith with the dive. More ball movement, Chastity. Carnegie. And the freshman didn't work that time.
I love the patience and the poise that they play with. They don't overshoot it. They don't over-dribble it. They just get the ball moving around. I'm not mad at that shot at all. They've been getting a lot of great shots.
Georgia Tech second in the ACC in assists, fourth in scoring. This is a team that shares the ball well, likes to find each other, but it's more so the depth that you see from this team too.
And that's what's key in the long run, is having not just some veteran leadership, but that depth. The depth is what's key, and the players that they have coming off the bench. We talked about Carnegie, the way she can score the basketball has just been so invaluable.
10 on the shot clock for Wake Forest. Outside shots by Jordan didn't make the mark, and 15 seconds now for Georgia Tech to work with to close out the first quarter. Off the bounce, Morgan gets fouled on the take. 4.4 left on the game clock, and she'll get free throws.
Absolutely relentless in her attack to the basket, judicious in her attack, and the way that she could draw contact and get to the free throw line. She's just outstanding. Just have another look at it here. Just the hesitation, got her defender up and able to speed by, and love the aggressive attack to the basket.
Aurora Sorby charged with her second personal foul. So you're gonna see Coach Gebbia really make some quick substitutions throughout this game, already shorthanded. And a reminder that Alyssa Andrews also in that walking boot this season has been in and out with that lower leg. I don't want to say injury. It's been something, a stress fracture that she's been dealing with throughout the season, but is a huge missing piece. The 6-foot senior has had one start and has played in 13 games.
Those are tough. I've dealt with those before. They're just lingering injuries.
So a backcourt, not a backcourt, but a violation because of the defense you're seeing from Georgia Tech. So the 6th turnover. 1 second left and off the fingertips of Chit-Chat Wright, but it will say that will bring the first quarter to a close. Georgia Tech with the advantage by Dunn.
Scoring at will. I mean, and it's just down the bench, the abilities that they have on both ends of the floor.
And they're doing that today here. Georgia Tech right now at 7 points from the bench. Wake Forest has yet to see a reserve score. Tonie Morgan turned down the 3. More ball movement. Finds Kara Dunn in the corner. Clip that one off for the highlight tape. Right on cue, Asia. It's like they almost remembered that you were talking about how well they were moving the ball earlier. Inez Naredo has had a hand on a lot of Wake Forest deflections in this game and finds a second one in this very possession.
And you see she's using that outside hand, just those mechanics alone, making it easy, getting her hands on the ball every single time. And for Theuerkauf, if someone's overplaying it like that, she can get some backdoor plays.
4 on the shot clock with the foul being committed by Georgia Tech. We'll reset things. So Tonie Morgan will pick up her first. During the break, there was also some miscommunication or clarification rather, for the first foul of the ball game. They changed it to Rylie Theuerkauf instead of Aurora Sorby. Theuerkauf off the bounce. That was deflected, of course, by Inez.
That length from Inez, I mean, she's deflecting passes. We just saw the block shot there. I mean, her defense has been outstanding on Theuerkauf.
Tamia Jones able to clean that one up. Almost saw it being another points off turnovers for Wake Forest. Instead, Tamia Jones. You can see the energy that she's been able to bring in this ball game. Comes out of the pack, sends it up the floor. Changing the pace for Wake Forest in the open floor, but couldn't find the mark there for Reagan Conley.
And that was a forced shot. I wasn't too fond of that shot, so the players around her got to communicate, spot up on the perimeter.
Blackshear flying in for the rebound, gets fouled in the process. She'll get 2 at the free throw line.
Blackshear is just a blue-collar player. You see it. Look at how she just flew in out of nowhere for that. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, when you get that offensive board, you're likely to get fouled afterwards. So I love the hustle and the effort from the veteran.
Madison Jordan called for her first foul over Wake Forest. And Kayla Blackshear, as we mentioned, got the start for today. Georgia Tech just at the free throw line for the 2nd time today, but Wake Forest has yet to see the free throw line in this game. Knocks down the second of the pairs. Done well from the free throw line this season, just under 80%. And now Blackshear with 7 points. Well, now at her season average, which is about 6. So I would say Coach Fortner getting what she wants from her senior.
Getting exactly what she wants and more. Outside of the point, just the overall hustle, crashing the glass, the defense.
We don't credit Inez Naredo enough for what she's been able to do on the defensive end. You just mentioned it, her length, but she's always outstretched. She's always going to make you find a way to get around her in different ways and get creative.
Exactly, and watch her hands, watch her feet constantly moving.
Another deflection at the top of the key. This one coming from Kara Dunn. Tonie Morgan felt like she missed her in the open floor, so she'll reset. Going at Demira Hines, found the mismatch. Just rolls off the front of the rim.
Yeah, that was great mismatch and now dribble hesitation. Gotta finish that, but I'm impressed with the steal, the way they can just read and intercept passes.
Wake Forest, 7 turnovers, gets the shot up there and finds another opportunity. Tamia Jones at the top of the key. Tried to send it over outstretched hands. Morgan out front and the bucket. Tonie Morgan now with 6 points. and more full court press from Georgia Tech, which will force Wake Forest to call a timeout while Georgia Tech continues on this tear on both ends of the floor. This is the biggest lead for Georgia Tech at 15. And they are really stringing everything together. How about 8 points off of 8 turnovers? Georgia Tech everywhere on the floor. You should be. And while we are here, the Play for K Peak game, as you can see the signs in the stands, so touching to see who everyone is playing for. You saw that at the top of the sign, and a lot of different names, and our hearts go out to each and every person that is still in the fight and those that we have lost as well. Especially the great Kay Yao, who I was able to play against. Actually, she got her 700th win against our team, and just to see her fight and her team fight for her was something that is ever going to be forever be etched in my memory. 6 on the shot clock. Tonie Morgan, the pull-up she has off the back iron while she missed. Coach Fortner did tell us, I need her to get to her pull-up, to get to her bag more often in the game, because that's something that she does very well.
And that mid-range pull-up game is becoming a lost art in this game. A lot of people are shooting the threes, attacking the basket. So to have that element, that layer of your game is just absolutely unstoppable.
Theuerkauf, 3, and good! Theuerkauf in double figures. She has 10, 4 for 5 from the field with 2 triples to add.
I told you, Theuerkauf is a calming factor in their offense.
Well, what do you call Caleb Blackshear then?
We'll comment on that one too. And we see the inside out, I love it. That short corner jumper.
At a season high 13 points, Blackshear now at 9. And we're just almost halfway through the second quarter. Theuerkauf held up with 9 on the shot clock. Outside shot by Sorby. Gets the front of the rim. The fight underneath for Malaya Coles. Extremely strong underneath. Has a canny ability to just find ways to get rebounds. Has this edge to me, like, I know kind of going back a bit, but like a Charles Barkley, just maybe undersized, but finds ways to track the ball off the rim.
No, absolutely, and she can move around in the paint as well, and she's got a strong body, and she's just relentless. I mean, it's the effort as well that you have to credit, and that's exactly what they need for her to be that force on the interior.
10 on the shot clock. Jones trying to figure out the trap, dishes it off. Coles gets it. So Malaya Coles with her second field goal of the game.
That's how you probe and survey defense. Take your time, attack, and get a drop pass in.
Offensive foul for Georgia Tech. We'll send it back to Wake Forest. Chit-chat right did get the shot off, but
just watch Jones here. That's a great attack and a great pass right there in the paint. Coles right there to finish. It's great execution, great patience on the offensive end.
So Thomas Harris charged with the foul there. This is just her 3rd game back this season. She had the FAMU game, has dealt with injury. The coach said she wanted to come back. She played just a few minutes against Clemson. Knows that she's going to miss, or not be able to say that she can get a red shirt for this season, but said, I want to be able to contribute on the rebounding aspect of things. So saying, I'm coming back.
Yeah, and that's so selfless. You said it there. To say that you want to come in and contribute and specifically say rebounding, just a stat outside of maybe the scoring, for example, just shows that selflessness in that fight that she has, and she wants to be out there with her teammates.
Georgia Tech giving the ball back after the night turnover for Wake Forest. And they cough it back up. Sorby put a little bit too much sauce on that one and missed the layup.
A little too much sauce, but I love that last defensive possession. Wake Forest, everybody on a string, which led to that interception.
Tiana Thomas started the break there, and nothing for Inez Naredo. So you'll see like the calming factor of chit-chat right now saying we need to get into an offense. And a lot of contact. Thompson mishandled the ball, and a foul is going to be issued against Tiana Thompson.
We talked about the defense of Jones. That was a pure definition of picking the pockets, and Coach Jebby was happy with that. Slapped her, gave her a high five.
So Thompson with her first foul of the game. Just under 4 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Sorby got the footwork and the bucket to go. She gets a free throw.
You cannot let up on the Demon Deacons. They just find an answer every single time. And Sorby, I love it. She's got that Euro flair to her game, and we can see that here. It's a great move and even better finish.
Chit-Chat Wright charged with the foul as Sorby will step up to the free throw line where she's been pretty good this season, shooting 80% from the charity stripe. Got to credit Sorby to just how she's handled being a freshman guard for Wake Forest and having to be that calming factor when things may not seem so calm in your debut in the ACC.
And being thrown into the fire in a conference like this, at the playing, like facilitating the ball the way she's doing, you really do have to give her that credit, especially the way that she's able to defend the ball as well.
She has 3 points now. As the cut by Dunn. How many times have we seen Georgia Tech moving without the ball, finding ways to find each other? A big part of why they're second in the league in assists.
Absolutely. The most dangerous players are the players off the ball, and they're moving, finding ways to get open. And you credit Zoe Smith because she completely calls out of the paint and open up the lane there.
6 different players for Georgia Tech have scored. Kara Dunn with 8, 3 for 6 from the field.
You talk about the movement, but watch Zoe Smith completely opened up the lane there by boxing goals out under the basket. Just a great finish, great pass from Blackshear, and great finish there on the inside. I mean, you talk about the ball movement, the assist on made baskets. When they're playing like this on the offensive end and you complement that with the great defense they've been playing, this is what Nell Fortner wants to see from her squad.
The great reset.
The great reset.
10 on the shot clock. Sorby moving it around a bit more, and the 3 ball in and out for Jones. Got to credit to Wake Forest how they've been able to get back in the second quarter in transition defense. Blackshear. Pull up no good. Bounces around a little bit. Conley able to tap it out to Demira Hines, who starts the break for Sorby. Sorby denying the screen. Crossing over, sitting at the top of the key, and a missed look at the rim.
I was about to say, okay, Charles Barkley.
Tonie Morgan comes out a little gimpy after that take. Less than 2 minutes here in the first half. Morgan, the dish, Zoe. One-on-one foot race. Conley going at Dunn. More people here to help, and a 4th shot attempt. But there were 3 white jerseys down there to help as well.
Yeah, to your point, I think at that point you take the ball out, you try to run and get a set, get some of your players down there as well.
Wake Forest still down by double digits, but another thing for them, trying to force the issue at the rim because they are in the bonus. So approaching the 90-second mark here in the first half. Georgia Tech has dominated from the very tip. Jones at the rim and rolls that one in. And enters the chat with her second field goal of the game.
Mia Jones has been absolutely outstanding and incredible in this second quarter.
The grad student from SMU missed 5 games due to personal reasons, was a big part of some very big games that they won in the non-conference. Good to see her back on the floor for Wake Forest. Sorby, long distance shot and a bit strong. Final minute of play here in the first half. Carnegie didn't like the look, might have gotten away with a couple of steps. But Kara Dunn 1-2 steps into an and one.
Definitely got away with a couple steps here, but I'm at it. I'll take the and-1 there.
Demon Deacons substitution number 15, Kennedy Moore.
So Coach Jebby at the Wake Forest bench are not too happy about that as well.
Dunn at the line, shooting 1.
And we welcome you to the McCamish Pavilion for the Play for K peak game between the 19th ranked Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and Wake Forest. As this game has gone Georgia Tech's way, they've had the advantage over the first quarter and now the second, but Georgia Tech just edging Wake Forest by 1 in the scoring department in this quarter. Wake Forest playing without Elise Williams, out for a violation of team rules after she had a 30-point game against them last season. And this team is rallying in the absence of her.
Finding an answer. All you got to do is get a stop and score on the other end, and the more important for them, take care of the basketball.
Final seconds of this second quarter as Wake Forest, a team that will never go away. Their heart, persistence have them in games as Wake Forest trying to get a stop here, final second, and Georgia Tech will not be able to get a shot off to end the first half, but still 11 assists on 15 made field goals for Georgia Tech. As we mentioned, they are second in the league in assists. As we get things going here in the third quarter, Aurora Sorby with 3 points, had the and-1.
I know the biggest key coming out of this locker room that Coach Jebby had talked about was taking care of the basketball.
They got 5 seconds on the shot clock. Theuerkauf with the Euro step. Efficient.
Okay, Theuerkauf.
Theuerkauf took off. Blackshear sends it to Norado for the 3-ball. She struggled from outside this season, but Kara Dunn able to get the rebound. Second chance opportunity for Georgia Tech with 15 on the shot clock. Morgan short on the layup, gets her own rebound, looking for a third attempt. The dive by Zoe Smith, nothing there. And here comes Wake Forest. So really stood their ground on that possession.
Yeah, back-to-back great defensive possession. Just got to do a better job of getting on the glass, but I ain't mad at this corner 3 here.
Reagan Connolly, who got the start after missing the last 2 games in the starting rotation, gets the nod while Elise Williams is not in the rotation for them today. Norado tries again from the outside and drops that one in. So Norado now with 7 points. That's her first 3 of the game. Eight on the shot clock. Theuerkauf looking for help. Conley tried to go backdoor, but another deflection for Georgia Tech. That has been the story of the game today. Dunn, outside 3-ball, slightly right.
And that receiver, I'm talking about for Wake Forest, that receiver has to come to the ball. Players got to move and meet the pass as well. It's not just on the passer. Something that Coach Jebby said they had to work on is just the players off the ball.
Theuerkauf, outside 3, couldn't connect. Demir Hines with the rebound and the putback. It's a 5-point game. Georgia Tech was up as many as 15 points in the first half. And how about them soaring back? Georgia Tech just 1 for 8 in this half. Morgan, short, and it's going to Wake Forest. What about this surge by the Deeks?
The defense has been outstanding, and I want to see the bigs more, as we saw in that last possession, continue to get on the glass, and then on the other end, on the defensive end, anchor and protect the rim and get on the glass as well defensively. But they've been moving the ball around, able to score, and more to key on, they can't turn the ball over.
Had 8 turnovers at half, 2 to start this second half. Georgia Tech had the 8 points off of those turnovers as well. You mentioned that had to be a conversation at half for Coach Gebbia. Another short shot clock for the Deeks. Theuerkauf trying to work her way to the paint, off the glass. She's relentless.
The way she gets you off her feet, she's got counter move after counter move, and I love the patience.
Theuerkauf is just tough. 14 points. Fans are saying, look up the floor. They felt like Conley had no one around her as Demira Hines was displaced by Kayla Blackshear. As we will look at the Food for Thought, brought to you by Food Lion. And today, right now, it's Georgia Tech and how they've been able to share the ball. 4 or more scores in double digits. They have a 7-0 look in ACC play. Anything less than that, and the numbers drop drastically. 7 on the shot clock. Theuerkauf, watch out. Steps back. Night. It is a 1-point game because Rylie Theuerkauf is taking the keys to the vehicle. As Dani Carnegie just recently checks in the game and pushes it to a 3-point game.
I mean, you know she's checking in the game because it's an automatic bucket.
Morgan gets the steal, and just like that, that's what they can do.
And that's the game changer right there. That's why it's so important for Wake Forest. You did all this work to get yourself back in the game. You've got to take care of the basketball.
Close to another one. They're trapped, looking for help. Coach Gebbia was trying to call for the timeout. And a jump ball will be assessed. It will go to Wake Forest.
I mean, this is what they like to do, steal, get their hands in the cookie jar. Morgan able to do so, and the trap right here. So you get a trap right here, and you can't see it from this camera angle, but all the other players on Wake Forest were kind of just standing still. You can't leave your player on an island. You got to move, go to the basketball, make yourself available.
Another steal. Dunn read it like a book. Couldn't come up with the points there, and Wake Forest searching for some calm. After these traps, they're swarming her on the floor, looking for help, and that jump ball is going to go to Tech. Georgia Tech playing like they have 8 people on the court.
Oh yeah, that thing heating up. They causing a lot of stifling, a lot of pressure. Wake Forest can't handle it, forcing the timeout.
We're able to see associate head coach Blanche Alverson, her mom, currently going through breast cancer recovery right now. So our hearts go out to everyone. I mean, just to see so many survivors, though, you become optimistic about the fight and hearing the stories about never giving up. So that's very, very special. And another reason why cancer research and donating is so important at this time.
So important. To see all the survivors here. We saw the cheerleaders holding up the signs of people they were supporting. So many people affected. Tasha Butts, I mean, that video was just so emotional. Just hearing, when we were hearing it on the Jumbotron, her speaking. I mean, so emotional. But again, you talk about the research and how important it is to donate support for breast cancer awareness, period.
I think when we were watching it on the Jumbotron, to see also the coaching staff giving their testimonies of how Tasha Butts impacted them and continues to impact them. You'll see a couple of their people as well wearing the shoes with Tasha Strong, or just understand Tasha Tough, excuse me. It's because of those moments for them that she said playing with that joy as well. So we never want to miss, as big as the game may be, how big the cancer research and giving back and what people show up every day as we live out our dreams to cover this game, but people who are affected by this horrible, horrible disease.
Absolutely.
So the 15th turnover for Wake Forest as we are just under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. It's gone back and forth. Wake Forest actually with the advantage in points, 11-7 over Georgia Tech in this third.
And that's because they had that hot start coming in out of the locker room at the half. Theuerkauf just continuing to go off. But again, Wake Forest, before that timeout that they had, Georgia Tech, they were forcing a lot of those turnovers. The defense was heating up. So for Wake Forest, they really got to take care of the basketball.
Georgia Tech gets it underneath with 20 on the shot clock. Blackshear trying to find Tonie Morgan at the top of the key. Georgia Tech in their play for K white jerseys with the pink trim and the 7 on the shot clock. Looking for points in this quarter. They have struggled from the field as they are just 3 for 5, now 3 for 16 in this quarter. And Wake Forest has looked a lot different in the second half. Dunn punches that out of the air. So Wake Forest will get it back underneath with 13 on the shot clock.
A lot of teaching moments for Wake Forest here on their passing. You can't eye down the person you're passing it to, not with a team like this in Georgia Tech that's just all in the passing lanes.
Their season high 15 steals in a game. There's a lot of contact. Tonie Morgan trying to prevent Rylie Theuerkauf from getting the ball at the top of the key. Picks up the foul. That'll be her second personal.
Trying to get through the screening action here.
You're always taught you are through when that leg is through. Trying to reach in, so Wake Forest looking for points. They haven't had any in the last 3 minutes of play. 8 on the shot clock and an offensive foul going against Demira Hines. That'll be her first and the second team foul.
It's tough. I'm pretty sure based off that last screenplay, the foul was on the defender, obviously, but they took another look at it this time around and got the offensive player setting the screen in Hines.
So Wake Forest has 6 turnovers over the last 3 minutes of play. On the other side, Georgia Tech gets their first bucket. They were 0 for 4 before that bucket.
And turnovers, that's what completely changes the game. You go back and remember, Angel, in their game against Duke. Duke had 41 points off of their turnovers, and they did a great job defensively in the half court against Duke. So when you clean that up, that completely changes the game.
Kennedy Moore missed a free throw on the other end, trying to hustle back. There is a foul committed by Wake Forest. So Kennedy will pick up her first personal. And they are racking up the team fouls now at their third. 2 more and Georgia Tech will see free throws. Back door, that was broken up. So Georgia Tech did a good job of taking care of the ball in the first half. Right now they're sitting at 6 turnovers. Less than 2 minutes to play in the third. Demira Hines gets the ISO. We haven't seen a lot of that from Wake Forest in this game.
And that's what worked early, that ISO in the post, especially that pass from the top of the key.
6 points for Demira Hines. Averages about 10, has double figures in 4 of the last 5 games. They need for her to step up. Chit chat. Hezzy. Caleb Blackshear able to rebound with one hand. Couldn't connect. Dunn running, but throws it to the opposing team.
I can hear the coaches from Wake Forest next to me, the assistant coaches screaming, they've got to get on the glass. Too many second, third, fourth chance opportunities allowed.
So back-to-back buckets for Hines. So it's a bit of a seesaw right now for both teams. Theuerkauf tried to run the distance. That was broken up by the quicker chit-chat, right?
I mean, it has been a back and forth affair. I love that. That's what you got to do. Look into the post, but then on the other side, the guards get into the rack. Morgan.
This is just a 2-possession game. Wake Forest has really done their part to come back and makes it a 1-possession now by Rylie Theuerkauf. What a stellar performance we're seeing from her right now. Just 2 points away from 20.
Angel, she is a dog. She's fearless. She plays hard. She's relentless on her attack. She can shoot it from outside. She's defending.
Kara Dunn with the slip and finish at the rim. Time continues to tick. Wake Forest, 13 to close out this quarter. Theuerkauf against Morgan. Who gets the finish? Held up, 1 second left. Jones for the 3, and it's good! Tamia Jones knocks down the triple.
Moments when they have those laps and they turn the ball over, that's when Georgia Tech pretty much is getting those easy buckets. So they're taking care of the ball, and when they move it around, it's looking good for Wake Forest.
And they start the ball off with a kiss off the glass by Conley, tying this ball game.
It's great execution of the play coming out of the timeout.
Wake Forest shot 75% in the third quarter compared to Georgia Tech 27, but they respond with a bucket of their own. Dani Carnegie, time after time, as the answer is Theuerkauf. She needs a nickname.
She needs a highlight tape.
Takeoff? Takeoff Theuerkauf?
Takeoff, takeoff.
Takeoff Theuerkauf with 20. Count it up. Dani Carnegie looking for another bucket after she had the last 3. Couldn't connect on this one as Kennedy comes down with the rebound and starts the break. Gotta be impressed with how Wake Forest has battled in this game. Coming in shorthanded, and Coles puts them up top.
They're continuing to work inside out, different players every time, getting a touch on the ball.
This is Wake Forest's first lead of the ball game as the Deeks.
And how she's progressed from last season to this year. And we talk about all those consecutive games that she has scored in double digits. When the stage is big, she is a star.
Just like they drew it up, Kayla Blackshear gets the touch to start off out of that timeout. Conley tried to dish it on the inside. Morgan, Tonie Morgan, saves it in bounds, and here they come. How about Jones with the pick 6? The dive, Conley didn't like the look at the rim, looking for help, finds Jones. The pull up short, and that's brought to a close by Naredo. Tech of trying to avoid the back-to-back loss by lower seeds in the ACC. Wake Forest looking for their second win in ACC play. This does not look like a team that has only won 1 game in this league.
Absolutely not. You talk about this, that's the most dangerous part about a team like Wake Forest and what they bring to the table. You cannot sleep on a team like Wake Forest.
They've got a short shot clock, 2 on it. Theuerkauf got it high in the air. And Kara Dunn might have tipped that one, as that's another turnover for Wake Forest, and they just looked like they were looking for something to get going. Well, the 12th Wake Tar Heels highlight our Thursday night ACC Network women's basketball doubleheader. How about Alyssa Usby leading Carolina against Georgia Woolley and Syracuse at 6 Eastern. Then Virginia Tech hosts Stanford. Should be another great night of hoops, as this is a great day of hoops. I mean, you turn on any channel today and you're going to find a great women's basketball game. I know South Carolina and UConn are on the floor right now. We've got Texas and LSU taking the floor today, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about North Carolina. I think they're playing NC State today as well.
Angel, I'm going to just say this. We're seeing some March basketball. It's still February. I mean, we've been seeing that all season long, but today is different.
Very different. Quick bucket for Tonie Morgan underneath. They have not shot well in this half. That helps a bit. Before that bucket, just shooting 29% in this half. Georgia Tech trying to lock down on this side of the ball. Wake Forest has been relentless. Demira Hines with the dish, and calls, and one. They're just having fun with it.
And I love that front court pass to pass, and this is when the Demon Deacons are good. When people are moving off the ball, and I love it, the cut there. Great pass from Hines to Coles, getting great position right there in the basket with the bucket counted.
Coles has stuffed the stat sheet, 8 points. Now missing that one, 8 points and 6 rebounds. Could have tied it at 57. The in and out by Tonie Morgan, the dish. And this will be a backcourt violation with Wake Forest in a very good spot on the floor. 8th turnover for Georgia Tech. Nell Fortner trying to rally the group, and if you just joined us, Wake Forest playing without Elise Williams, who had a 30-point game against Wake Forest last season. Wake Forest right now just trying to take care of the ball. The dive and one too many steps.
I mean, you got to appreciate a lot of the movement off the ball and getting the passes around, but you also have to have a little patience, poise, and not get sped up.
I think there is that difference when you can see them playing for fun, with the sense of we have nothing to lose. We're fighting, we're shorthanded, and a team that is respected. Make no doubt about it, this is a team that if you allow them to come on your floor or you go into their home arena, they're going to give you the best they've got. And right now, Georgia Tech is seeing that. They're trying to avoid back-to-back upset wins, or upset losses. Chit Chat Wright will come into the game for Tonie Morgan. Three ball. Missed everything from Laredo. Wake Forest can go ahead with the bucket here. The attention for Rylie Theuerkauf, trying everything to get the ball, as Inez Laredo was able to get out front. And Demira Hines gets charged with the foul, trying to clear off Rylie Theuerkauf.
And we talked about how great Inez is defensively. Look how she blows, not once, twice, blows up this handoff, gets her hand on the ball, steal, boom, foul right there.
Five minutes left in this ball game. It's gone back and forth in this fourth quarter. Kara Dunn. There's a lead, and then there's Kara Dunn.
Absolutely, that was such a tough finish.
Actually, a break was called. The crowd thought there was a steal. And while they're confused, they'll have some time to think about it, but Kara Dunn has been special. 5. She got that against NC State, and Georgia Tech, the magic number for them is when they have 4 players in double figures.
Yep, and it shows. They're getting the ball, moving around, getting great shots. You talk about the assist there. Rylie Theuerkauf takeoff, continuing to go off. Oh, yeah, I'm super bought in. I'm actually getting confused on which one to actually say at the time. Like, I keep thinking Takeoff first in my mind, but I know her last name's Theuerkauf.
It's all right. So that's not the way Coach Gebbia wanted to start off out of that break, out of that timeout, with the turnover as they get points on the board for Zoe Smith. Zoe Smith, just her first points of the ball game, but does have the 6 rebounds. Holmes finds Theuerkauf. Rylie has seen everybody on Georgia Tech. This time finds Dunn. If she was able to get that one to go, that would have been special. But the foul is committed as Demira Hines fighting for that last attempt.
And I love the fight from Hines. You see your player is struggling, putting in a tough bucket basket, and it goes off the other side. Just does a great job gauging where the rebound's coming off the rim. Goes up strong.
Kayla Blackshear picks up her 3rd foul. No other player for Georgia Tech has 3. And no player for Wake Forest has 3. Theuerkauf with 2 and Demira Hines with 2 as Hines able to knock down that first one. So that's a good way to get points on the board. Wake Forest had 5 turnovers. In the last about 3 minutes of play. Dani Carnegie steps back. Outstretched, Smith gets another opportunity. 7 rebounds. Kara Dunn knocks down the triple and extends the lead for Tech.
Outside of the turnovers, it's been those second chance opportunities that Georgia Tech has capitalized off of that's been hurting Wake. They've got to get on the glass, but credit Kara Dunn.
Conley can't respond, does get the ball back. Theuerkauf. Kara Dunn is all over this ball game. Wake Forest has about 4 minutes that they've gone without a field goal as Kara Dunn is lighting him up here in McCamish Pavilion.
Kara Dunn just putting it on another level, gonna carry it out, carry this team in this stretch. That's what you want to see from the vet.
6-0 run for the Yellow Jackets. 4 of their last 5 have gone down. Theuerkauf, the step back, in and out, has gone cold here in the 4th. A foul against Georgia Tech. So Kayla Blackshear picks up her 4th.
That was a tough battle on the basket. We have another look at it here. That's tough.
That's a bad call.
That's a bad call.
That's a tough call, but you can kind of see both arms getting tangled up, so whatever the angle was for the officials to see. We saw Kayla Blackshear with more of that contact. Ashley Goss, Chuck Gonzalez, and Leah Lanny, the officials today. 4 on the shot clock. Coach Gebbia is saying we need points in a hurry, and they won't get it as a shot clock violation. And the 22nd turnover for Wake Forest gives the ball back to Tech.
And I want to give a pat on the back to Blackshear because you just had that tough call, that tough foul call. She came back, did a tremendous job pushing Hines out of the paint and then forcing that tough shot, ended up being a shot clock violation at the end. So you credit her defense, and that's how you answer back.
Our conversation with Coach Gebbia was who will step up when we have those lulls in points. And we have not seen anyone able to knock down some key shots within this 4th quarter. Here comes Tamia Jones, the backdoor by Connolly, and finally a bucket for Wake Forest. 7-point game with 1:07 left here in the 4th. What a game we have on our hands. And you don't want to miss a second of it, so make sure you stick around. Action coming up. Thinking not what shot I particularly have, but what's going to be the best shot within the offense.
Absolutely, and even those players reading and reacting off of the ball.
Under a minute to play in this ball game. Tonie Morgan taking a little air out of the ball at the top of the key. Guarded by Sorby. 5 left on the shot clock. Carnegie pulls up. That's money. Money for Dani Carnegie. Wake Forest looking for points in a hurry as they were trying to battle it out on the floor. They'll say it's a kick ball by Georgia Tech, and we'll reset at 20 underneath. Leah Coles waiting to check in the game. She'll come in for Sorby.
I mean, you want to sense the urgency for Wake, but you got to be poised and take care of the ball as well, kind of slow it down in your mind.
So the officials at the top of the frame said it was a kick ball, but instead they said it was a change of possession. So that's why they have the 20 on the shot clock. And Rylie Theuerkauf has cooled off here in the fourth. Fourth quarter with just 2 points, 1 for 5 from the field. Georgia Tech will call a timeout. You can see the frustration for a crazy lineup of women's basketball for today here on the ACC Network. Georgia Tech with a 9-point advantage with 30 seconds left in this ball game, and a foul by Sorby. Her second, 14 foul, so they'll need one more to put Georgia Tech at the free throw line. Georgia Tech has 1 timeout left. Wake Forest left with 2. Dani Carnegie gets it once again. And she has been a huge emphasis to get the ball to. She is one of their best free throw shooters, shooting 84% at the free throw line this season.
Demon Deacons substitution number 5, Rylie Theuerkauf. Dani Carnegie to the line, is shooting 2.
So that is good for Dani Carnegie, making it a 10-point game, as just earlier today, part of the conversation.
Timeout, Wake Forest.
There is a timeout for Wake Forest. They'll expend their last, or they have one at 65, the 20-5 overall record. So them right now just trying to figure out how they can improve on the seeding for NCAA.
Which is why this finish is going to be so important for them.
Demira Hines cleans it up, could not get the putback. And so coach saying they will commit the foul there and put Georgia Tech back at the line, but they had a couple of good looks at that end. So Reagan Conley picks up her second foul as we're just a couple of seconds away from this game being in the books, and as this is a double-figure scoring game, this was nothing. That does not indicate what this game has been like in the second half for Wake Forest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if I'm teams, I'm keying in, I'm watching this matchup right now, it just speaks volumes to having to put your foot on the gas every matchup, because you have a team like Wake Forest who's won 1 game in this conference, and you see that the way that they're battling and able to compete.
So the miss for Dunn with Wake Forest grabbing
For home court, but they got to come out, play, put their foot on the gas early in both matchups.
Yeah, just seeing NC State, Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers, definitely worth the price of admission, as another point on the board for Wake Forest. And Georgia Tech calls their final timeout. As we mentioned, the 4 players that are in double figures. Tonie Morgan decided she didn't want to wanted to wait for a big foul, gets the bucket there. Another shot attempt by Jones, and they play to the final whistle as Wake Forest will drop to 8-17 on the season, and Georgia Tech picks up their 21st win on the